Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to review special right triangles, and we worked on two special right triangles. The first one I'm going to talk about is the 45, 45, 90. So we have a 45, 45, 90 triangle. The legs are going to be congruent, and if you have one of the legs, let's say the measure of this leg is n, so the other measure is also n, and the hypotenuse is going to be n square root 2. So you're going to multiply the leg times the square root of 2. The other special right triangle that we worked with was the 30, 60, 90. So the small angle is going to be the 30-degree angle. The bigger one is going to be the 60. 30, 60, 90. So in this one, if you have the small leg, the one opposite of the 30-degree angle, then the hypotenuse is 2 times n, and the long leg is going to be n times the square root of 3. So let's get into some examples. Example 1. Okay, all right, so our job is to find the values of x and y. So we know that this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Then y also has to be 5 because these sides are congruent. And x is 5 times the square root of 2. So basically 5 square root 2. For these problems, for today, I want you to give me both the answers in radical form, simplest radical form, and also rounded to the nearest hundredth. So for that, we're going to use the calculator. So 5 times the square root of 2. Okay, it just gives me 5 square root of 2. But if you press this button above the enter sign, these two arrows here, it changes it into decimal. So that is going to be 7.07. All right, let's try another. Let's go with this triangle here. Okay, so first identify what type of triangle it is. It's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And what are you given? In this case, we're given the side opposite of the 30-degree angle, so we're given the small leg. So to find the hypotenuse, x, you take the small leg and you multiply that by 2 to get 14. To get the long leg, y, you multiply 7 times the square root of 3, which is simply 7 square root 3. And we're going to use your calculator to find what is 7 square root of 3 in decimal form. That is 12.12. Let's try another. I'm sorry, let's change this up a little bit. I want the hypotenuse to be 5 this time. Okay, so this time we're given the hypotenuse. We need to find the legs. At least we know that the legs are congruent. So x is equal to y. So if you could find one, that means you found both. This time you're given the hypotenuse. So let's go back to our notes. So if you're given the hypotenuse, and if you want to go backwards, instead of multiplying by the square root of 2, you're going to divide by the square root of 2. So we're going to take our 5 and divide by square root 2. Now here, remember that we cannot have radicals in the denominator. So we're going to rationalize it by multiplying by the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. That turns our answer into 5 square root 2 over 2. That's the simplest radical form. So now let's change this to a decimal. So 5 times the square root of 2. All right, I want to get out of the radicals. I'm going to go to the right and then divide by 2. Enter. So that's approximately 3.54. So this 5 makes me round up to 4. So we actually found both at the same time. Let's do a few more examples. 4. Okay. In this problem, we're given the long leg of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, so let's go back to our notes. Okay, so I have the long leg. So if I want to go back to the short leg, I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. So to find x, it's the square root of 6 divided by the square root of 3. If both numbers are under the radical, you could go ahead and divide. So this turns into the square root of 2. And that's it, simplified. In decimal form, the square root of 2 is 1.41 approximately. Okay, so we know this is square root of 2. And then to find the hypotenuse, you multiply the short leg that we just found by 2. So y is 2 times the square root of 2. So whatever I have on my screen, I'm just going to multiply that times 2 to get my decimal answer, which is approximately 2.83. 5. Okay, we have a 45, 45, 90. So these two are congruent. So we already know that y is also 3 square root of 6. Change that to a decimal. It's approximately 7.35. To find x, we're going to multiply 3 square root of 6 times the square root of 2, which is now 3 square root of 12. But now you could simplify this radical. This is 3 square root of 4 times the square root of 3. The square root of 4 is 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 square root of 3, which is approximately 10.39. 6. Okay, another 45, 45, 90. We have the hypotenuse. To find the legs, so we know that they're equal to each other, we take the square root of 32 divided by the square root of 2. This is going to work out nicely. 32 divided by 2 is the square root of 16, which is 4. That's it's a nice one. And last one that we're going to do. Okay, we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and we're given the hypotenuse, which is 19. To find the short leg, x, you take your 19 divided by 2, and you get 9.5. And then to find the long leg, take the short leg and multiply it by the square root of 3. So 9.5 times square root of 3 is 16.45. And that's it for today. You can find the practice on PowerSchool as well. Go ahead and download it, do it on Notability or do it on a separate sheet of paper, and upload your work on PowerSchool as well. Enjoy the rest of your day.